I recorded this video already, like 4 times. I had one really good take, and my mic was off. So, this is going to be a lot of repeating myself, or I might be yapping for a minute, but I completed the first 2 weeks of CANDITO's program. It is the volume phase, and the volume phase in most block-based programs are built in a 4 to 6 week block, maybe 3 weeks, depending on how long the program is. But it's meant to get you used to heavy weights, maybe different movements. If it has you doing a specific technique that you're not used to, or a variation you're not exactly acclimated to, this will help put weight into the bar, especially if it's a new movement. And it's supposed to get you more energized before you push heavier weights for lower reps in your later phases. And that is condensed into 2 weeks for CANDITO's program. That's why you have more accessories. That's why you have higher reps. That's why later on it's going like 12, 10, 6, 8, 6 in terms of the rep range. And this is the entire point, volume phase. And it's supposed to teach us how like each block is supposed to go with the program, especially since it's just a condensed version of a longer program, or eventually a longer program. And so I completed it, and I have some problems with it. First, no bench variation. I could do a whole lot of, I'm a beginner. I'm supposed to be using beginner programs, but beginner programs don't have variations anyways. And when I'm being taught by other people at my gym, they want me to do variations because I have a lot of struggles, instabilities, and they recommended to add some variations to my program, which I'm eventually going to make. And so I had to do bench 3 times, really light, each week. And I wouldn't say it's extremely light. I had to set a new bench PR of 170 so I could push heavier weights in the volume phase, because I was just sleeping throughout my entire bench press days. I wasn't progressing, so this is something I have to work towards. And I really wish there was more technique development throughout this phase, because it has simple, very simple movements that are in beginner programs such as starting strength 5x5, 5-3-1. These are the barbell movements that are meant to teach a beginner, and it's in an intermediate program. And so I didn't really have a lot of fun on the up days, and the lower days were pretty good. The squat and deadlift really took everything out of me, the second week especially, with the 5 sets of 3, and then 1 set of max reps of 10, and then it put extra volume, 5 more pounds, did that for 5 sets of 3 with 60 seconds rest in between. You had then the next lower day was max reps of 185 for 10 reps. For max reps, 185 is the weight. And then you go down in weight 10 pounds, and you did it for 10 sets of 3 reps for 60 seconds rest in between. And CANDITO had the gall to put deadlifts right after. Yeah, both are deadlift variations, and he expected someone to be able to do deadlifts right after. And this is why I don't like having squat and deadlift the same day, because both are really heavy movements that will tax your CNS. With bench, no. Bench, doesn't really tax you like that. Yeah, you get tired after bench, but if you put 200, 400 milligrams of caffeine in someone, carb them up, they're willing to do 6 more exercises after a heavy bench session. With squats or deadlifts, if you make them do 10 sets, no matter the weight, no matter the reps, they're not going to be able to do anything else at maximum efficiency. And so that's why I don't like squat and deadlifts the same day. I would have recommended deadlift and a bench variation, squat and a bench variation, and then main squat, main deadlift, and a bench variation, and then have a separate day specifically for bench again. This time a hypertrophy bench exercise, because you already benched 3 main times, 2 technique development, and then 1 main bench. Have incline bench, or have a dumbbell movement that's correlated to bench. That would have been much better, at least in my opinion. But I'm not Candido. He's an experienced powerlifter. I'm still a beginner. This is 6 months into my lifting journey and 2 months into my powerlifting journey. And that's something I would change up. Now, the program is pushing heavier weights because of the heavy acclimation weight phase, and my next video is going to be on week 3, week 4. And with my accessories, it's only preacher curl on upper days, and I'm going to try to do an ab work on my lower days, which I've been failing to do because it's been very taxing, and then face pulls, so I could work on my rear delts, so I could create a tighter shelf. And I still would have preferred a variation of either no deadlift after squats. I would have preferred just a variation that he'd recommend that is recommended at a very low RPE or a very weak, just to focus on technique. Like if you struggle at a lockout, rack pull, RDL, not SLDL, but if you struggle at picking the bar off the floor, which I struggle at, pause deadlifts would work very well, or something, or a back extension to work on your strengthening on lower back. Just doing a main deadlift after squats in general, it's really difficult to do, and maybe that's just me, but I'm 5'4", and I'm doing conventional still, and it's really difficult. And overall, I'd say the volume phase is still pretty good. I just wish there was variations. And my diet for the last weeks of this program is still going to be a maintenance. My maintenance is up to 2,300 calories a day. I'm still be hitting my protein target's different on macro factor, but I'm just aiming for body weight, 1 gram of protein per body weight, and I carb up before the gym so I have energy. 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. I try my best. I usually get 7 hours because I wake up really early for some reason. I take my rest days seriously. I don't do any cardio. I just do work, and I'm not crazy busy at work, but I try my best. I don't take any caffeine. I still take my creatine, still take all the supplements I take to just stay up, stay motivated during my rest days. And I plan my workouts out, so it's just like, hey, I'm going at 6 a.m. I know I'm going to be there at 6 a.m. and spend as much time as I need to perfectly focus on my workouts. Ignore my phone notifications. I'm sorry about that. And so, like I said, my next videos are going to be sticking to the program. Week 3, week 4, both are heavy acclimation phases, so I can build up to those singles on week 5, week 6. See you then. Yes.